at 70 points.
Okay.
It is possible. Now it is possible. Of the constituency. Yes. The electoral commissioner. Yes, sir. Hereby declare Honorable Mahama Naser Toure.
Well, so that's Magnaza. He goes by that Nicky. So his nickname is Magnaza. I mean, that's what everybody calls him. Particularly if you're a regular user of this Kaukudi, that's the Gold House Road towards to the Accra Psychiatric Runabout area, you'll find that when you get to the Nima area, a lot of his drawings are on the wall because he's created many clubs. And there are many fan clubs also not only created by him, but also created by his supporters. And they tend to sit there after prayers, have conversation just around the Kanda estate or close to the Kanda estate. So indeed, I met him about 2 or 3 weeks ago in Parliament, and we even were in the same lift together and we're just talking. So quite shocking, but that's life, right? May he so rest in peace, but it also means that when we are talking about the politics of it, a vacuum again has been created. We have another by-election on our hands. What really does it mean for us? The Honorable Naser Toure Mahama, the Member of Parliament, has passed on. We're told that the burial will be this morning. And what are the implications? The EC is supposed to be notified within 7 days, etc. We'll take you through all that. But let's introduce to you a Deputy Minister for Roads, but also the Member of Parliament for Tamale North. He's also here, and we're talking about Suhuyini, Alhassan Suhuyini. The Honorable Alhassan, how are you, sir?
Very well, Roland. Thank you.
Okay, Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to you too. And then Lawyer Apia Danko of the United Party is here. Happy New Year to you as well.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
And Dr. Kweku Boahin has been joining us in the latter part, since the latter part of the previous year. He's here as well. Dr. Kweku Boahin, how are you? Where's the Honorable Kennedy Japan? Now?
We're back in Ashanti.
Oh, back in Ashanti. Hey, it's taking a long time. It's almost like a 3 weeks campaign period.
We need to finish Ashanti region and then get the votes of Ashantis with us. So today is going to be with the people of Asanwase. It's going to be in Manshia South, and then we'll end in Inshiashu today.
Okay.
So we are with them, giving them the message of hope. We know that definitely 31st of January, Ken will be elected flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party.
Wow. And then also Dr. Bernard Tutubuahin. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I've seen Dr. Mahmoud Bame also making rounds, making comments, etc. Have you seen some of the videos, your own observations? But good morning, Happy New Year.
Yeah, many happy returns, and good morning to co-panelists and our cherished viewers as well. I've not actually monitored the campaign of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. As it were, Christmas. So I was on holidays, resting, and there was no politics in my life. So maybe afterwards, I think I told you I'm conducting a survey.
Yes, so, generally on the politics of many things, including that of the primaries.
Yeah. So I'll send you the...
You've announced that many times on the show.
Yes, I'll send you the questionnaire.
And then...
So you send to people who matter.
Okay.
To help us understand what is happening in Ghanaian politics.
All right. Well, thank you very much as well. So we'll take you to the home of the late Member of Parliament and then sample some of the views. I know that Suhuyini himself was there yesterday, but he's not part of this number of inserts we have. Here they are.
Has been a very good friend. I'm sure that the wife And myself, when I was national organizer, he supported me a lot. And not only me, but even President Mahama. I remember when we have to go and meet him. Indeed, just about 2 weeks ago, I heard he wasn't well. I called him and I asked him whether he's okay. He said, oh, he was very fine. He was not well, but he's fine. Just for this afternoon, for me to get information that he's passed on. And any of you that knows Naser, a very humble person, a very, very humble person, and a good person, great person. Somebody that loves the NDC. You know, he will leave everything for the NDC. It's a shock, bro.
I was a bit surprised because not too long we're in Parliament together. Though I know he has not been well, but I at least expected what has just happened. Because before we left, just the last week or so, he was hale and hearty. You can see that, you know, but I mean, whatever happens is the will of God. So I cannot imagine his replacement, a big gap. We only pray that the good Lord will keep the constituency together, and then with his nature, his calmness, the way he goes about his things, the rest would learn from him.
It's difficult for me to find words to express it. I mean, first week in the year, Naser will be irreplaceable. I mean, he was my colleague in Parliament. I served with him on one committee. I mean, the commitment for the job. And in all, well, he's a Muslim. We just have to thank Allah. Allah knows the best. We can't challenge the wish of Allah. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And may Allah give him a very befitting place.
It's a big loss for the party. It's one of the MP that have control in his constituency. Of all his primaries, was one of the hittest primaries. I thought that the coming elections would be easier for him for the way he controlled the constituency. But God knows the best.
He has been my friend. I've been coming here to visit him. And today, he's no more. He's a very calm man, very quiet, and very, very.
Okay, so those are the commiserative messages coming from his colleague members of parliament as well as leading members of the NDC as well. And so he in a big lot. I saw you there yesterday in other reportage from other media houses as well. Generally, what would you say about him?
Well, Roland, let me also wish my colleague panelists a happy new year and our cherished viewers, and especially the constituents of Tamale North. Very, very prosperous and a happy new year to us all. In Islam, when we encounter laws such as this, the first thing we are taught to say is Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We are all from Allah, from Him we come, and to Him is our return. It is, I know, humanly difficult, but it is divinely rewarding to put your faith in Allah when things such as this happen. Because the only mystery in life, in my view so far, is death. I am yet to read any theory that makes sense about why people die and why we die. And how, I mean, it's a mystery. It's a mystery. And so on this note, I want to extend my heartfelt condolences to the wife and children, to the family, to the constituents, to the NDC party, and especially to the majority caucus in Parliament. Honorable Naser Toure was a very unassuming man, very thoughtful, very patient, and he had a very calm disposition that I am sure would have been an asset for him in the political life that he engaged in. He was never to be seen around chaos. I met him in Parliament in 2017 when he had just finished serving his first term. And I can say that I related to him and he related to me as a sibling. And as a senior brother, I cannot, forget how his calm disposition, his thoughtful approach to issues impacted many of us, especially in the NDC caucus around that time. He was also a very active member of the Muslim caucus in Parliament. And I understand he is currently the chairman of the Greater Accra NDC caucus. He was, like I said, very thoughtful, and I am very confident that his constituents are going to miss him dearly. It's going to be very difficult to replace him. What we can only pray for is that Allah Almighty will give the family the serenity of mind to accept this loss, and the constituents the wisdom that is required to make a choice that can, fill the void that his absence has created. The burial was deferred from yesterday to this morning, and the janaza, I understand, will be performed on his body at about 10 a.m. around Kanda, where his office is located. Well-wishers and all mourners are expected to converge there at about 10 a.m. this morning, where the janaza prayer will be observed, and the body will subsequently be prepared for burial at the Medina Cemetery. Once again, Roland, I just want to extend my heartfelt condolences to the family and to the constituents. It is a big loss to the NDC caucus in Parliament. We did not plan to start our year on this note, but Allah knows best, and I'm sure He will give us the divine guidance moving forward.
Okay, and this one is just a commiserative one, because there's a vacuum now, so we have to talk about that. But just your words on the commiserative aspect.
Let me wish your lovely viewers a good morning and happy New Year. I think this is the first time in 2026 that we are appearing before your show. It's always a pleasure to meet my brother Suini. Yeah, happy New Year. Said clearly MVP have sumptuously found a place on.
That's why he was holding you when he was talking. He was tapping you. So that you restrain yourself.
No, but you see,
United Party, you can't restrain yourself from talking about the MPP.
No, I don't like dishonesty. Understand? When you tell the whole Ghana that you are boycotting what's called a platform, and then you surreptitiously sneak in your people, that's being dishonest.
This from Ken Camp.
But it's MPP. That's being. I think right now is part of their beyond. The familiar spirit has brought in this honest spirit into their party. I think let me make that position clear.
Familiar spirit.
The familiar spirit. And let me wish my brother Prof. I don't know, you suspect him of being in Bamian's campaign. How? Because strangely he was asking about Bamian's.
No, I have no such suspicions.
You have no such. Then please, the way you put your question suggested that you suspect that he's in Bamian's camp. So maybe
let me clarify. I have no such
to give a disclaimer.
I have no such.
I agree with your observation.
Yeah, you have to give.
The intro made me wonder if we were having a rep from Bawumia and a rep from Kennedy.
Two MPP on the show.
Surreptitious.
Yeah, on a platform that,
I like that word.
They are meant to. Anyway, I think everybody knows that I'm not diabolical. Today we are all down. As in yesterday, I had the sad passing of the MP for Ayawaso East. I won't come and lie to Ghanaians and say that I personally know him. I don't know the MP on a personal level. However, it's always sad to hear that about anybody's passing. And I stand off with you about a lack of understanding of death. For me, I'm a Christian, and I'm not a nominal Christian. I'm a born again Christian, and so I see death from as in when you read the Bible, we say that as it is appointed unto man who wants to die. Psalms talks about that God should number our days so that we'll be humble. And so for me, unfortunately, we all have a death sentence. You understand? And I think the thought of that should keep us grounded and humble. But having said that, my sincerest and heartfelt condolences to the family of the MP. My condolences to the people of Ayawaso East. They've lost their rep. My condolences to the NDC party and fraternity. And I pray that all of us are comforted and that we find the presence of mind to do the needful as per the Constitution without losing sight of the fact that somebody has died. And then we take this opportunity to celebrate his life because, like I said, I don't know him, but understanding the competitiveness of the politics in our country, especially sometimes the internal competition in seats that are supposed to be safe for the parties. For Honorable Naser to have won this seat 4 times, if I didn't know anything about him, that tells me everything I need to know about the man. Because clearly there's somebody that whose constituents trusted him enough to present him 4 times. So may he so rest in peace, and all of us should be comforted.
All right, Dr. Boyne.
Yes, sir.
Just a short one. Then we come. There's a vacancy, and we've had a number of by-elections quite recently over the last couple of years. So.
It's sad, actually. Let me say a good morning and then a happy new year to Honorable Kennedy Japan, and then to our fraternity, that's the connected family, and then to my constituents back in Amasaman.
Your constituency is Amasaman?
Yes. And to Nanaba for Kwashi, the chief of Kwashi Krum in Asamankesi. Hosted me over the weekend. We had quite a fruitful discussion. And then we know that things are going to go well for us. And then let me correct something. I said today we are going to end our campaign in Shaesho. It was actually yesterday. Today we are doing Kennedy Japan is in Asawanse, Manshia South, Ejiso, and Oforikrum.
Manshia South,
and then Ejiso.
Oforikrum.
Yeah.
Okay, Oforikrum, he'll be there as well. And then Aswanse will become the starting point.
Yeah.
That's a big constituency.
Yeah. So he'll be there to share the good message with the people there. And then let's come back to Mahama Naser. Yes, I have known him for a couple of years. Remember back in our days when we used to be in Parliament with a parliamentary press corps.
That time your name was Roxon, if I remember.
And then
your conductor, Kweku
Ken,
he's my very good friend.
No, I the Ken.
Please go ahead, Dr. Kweku Boyne. Please go ahead.
Dr. Kennedy.
And we had one-on-one interviews with him a couple of times. Then working with the nationalist newspaper, We've known him for some time, and passing on, I think I was taken aback a little bit yesterday when I heard the news. It's not easy when you see an old acquaintance, somebody you've known so well, and then they tell you, oh, he's no more.
It's no more.
It's not easy, actually. But we're wishing journey to through us, as people would say. And then my deepest condolence to the family, the constituents, the NDC fraternity, Parliament House of Ghana. And
The NDC fraternity, is it coming from the Ken camp or the entire MPP?
Oh, yes.
From your personal,
From his personal point.
From my personal
or from
point of
MPP,
view,
yeah.
and then from Honorable Kenneth Japon as well, because they were colleagues back in Parliament.
and MPP as a whole.
Oh, and then artists.
Oh, no. Oh, please go ahead. We don't have the time to.
And what I want to say is that we wish him a very successful journey. Our prayers are with the family. It's difficult, but God knows best. And then to the people of Ayawaso, he was a good man. If you look at
all dead men are good in Ghana.
With the committees he served on, and in all the work, these Operation Cement Yolungu, he was very instrumental.
I remember.
With that one, and helping with sanitations and all that. So we wish him a good journey.
Dr. Tutubuahin, the vacancy has been created.
Yes.
Once you undertake the commiserations, you start the conversation.
Yes. So, again, Happy New Year to our viewers and social media followers, as well as to all of us.
Yeah, Edwin Tamoklo says, Happy New Year to all of you.
Oh, okay.
Especially to the Honorable Suhini. Says it's the birthday of Beatrice Sanan as well, Presidential Safa. Happy birthday on this very sad day. Beatrice Sanan, happy birthday.
Oh, so Beatrice, happy birthday. So, yes, obviously, that's Ayawaso East, right? Yeah. Obviously, a safe seat for the NDC.
Safe, eh?
Yeah, very safe. And this time around, I think that again, with the the general acceptance of the NDC within the Ghanaian populace, it's obvious that in any by-election, especially a seat that has been won by the NDC over the years, unless the NDC probably
this
decide.
was actually his fourth term.
Yeah, this is fourth. I think third term. He came to Parliament in 2012. Fourth term, okay. So obviously, unless the NDC says that we are not interested, I think that yes. And if you check the difference, in the 2024 elections, he's popular. The NDC is popular in there. So whatever by-election that is going to happen, unless the unexpected, the unpredicted happens, it's going to be a safe seat for the NDC.
Looks like this number
again, I think that when you look at the general comments, coming in, obviously he's one parliamentarian that I've never heard of his name. He's a quiet type, I suppose, and that tells you that he's that person who would always, as it were, focus on his job, focus on his constituency, and probably deliver, their needs and expectations. For you to maintain your seat, for the fourth term, that speaks volume of, the love that the constituency has for him. And so probably sympathy equally may be added to the popularity of the NDC, within the constituency in case of as they move into the by-election. And so we only want to say that the family should be consoled. God should, touch them, and whatever they've lost, the Almighty God, who knows best, would find a place in their heart and then console them and then compensate them for whatever losses that they have incurred. With Ghana and the NDC as a party, I think he's, when you read, the write-ups that have come so far, he's been a member of about 4 committees. He's been the chairman of the Energy Committee, member Roads and Transport Committee, House Committee, and then Private Member Bill and Motions Committee. And these are all, major committees in Parliament. And so another vacancy is created in there. Human resource sometimes is difficult, to replace, especially because of individual differences, tolerance levels, and how people perform their jobs, And so we pray that the NDC would get a very good replacement, for Parliament, and Parliament would equally find a good replacement for him, who would deliver the job to the benefit of Ghanaians in general. So we wish the family well. We pray that God will touch them, and as it is, console them, and replenish, whatever losses that they have incurred.
Yeah, yeah. But if we have to trigger the article as it is 112, it also means that Parliament will have to be notified. And with this absence means that by-election kicks in. Safe seat, we're told, but a lot of work needs to be done as well. Because what are the dynamics in that constituency generally?
Well, Honorable Naser is one person that also proves that political fortunes defy, logic and, logical expectations. Like Dr. Tutu said, sometimes it is not always about, being in the media or being on the floor of Parliament, engaging in debates. It's sometimes about meeting the needs and expectations of your constituents. And I think that is what, over the years, Honorable Naser has demonstrated. I have encountered him a couple of times at the committee level, the last one being very recently when my ministry had to defend its budget estimates before the Roads and Highways Committee. He, I recall, made a very passionate point about roads in his constituency and the need for the ministry to, focus on that this year. And the concern he expressed had to do with how sometimes some of the inner cities, such as the one that he is representing, are overlooked because of the assumption that the city already have enough roads. And it was his concern that his constituency still had many untarred roads and roads that needed attention. And
Nima.
Yes, exactly. You see, that's the point he was making. Your reaction is the exact point he was making. Like inner cities, Accra, I mean,
My reaction
they have problems.
is in comparative terms.
Right. I get it. So that's the point he was making, that sometimes it is easy for policymakers to overlook their needs, even though they also really have dire situations sometimes. So I think that he served well as a member of parliament, and the constituents are going to miss him. But the point about the dynamics in the constituency, I do know that he's always had internal opposition. That is normal. And again, the figures speak to the fact that the NDC is very strong in Ayawaso East. The NDC has always won by over 60%. The last election, he won by over 70%, and the NDC did same. So clearly, the NDC is very strong in Ayawaso East. But the problem sometimes, as it is in many cases where the NDC is strong, is the internal rivalry. And it was not missing in Ayawaso East. So a number of, names have already been considered and been discussed. And I'm sure that at the end of the day, the constituents will make the choice that will work to meet their needs. And that is why in my opening remarks, I prayed that Allah will give the constituents the wisdom to choose a replacement that is suitable. At this point, I think it's still a bit too early because Parliament is yet to be informed of the loss, and then Parliament in turn will also inform the Electoral Commission of a vacancy, and then the Electoral Commission will now look at their timetable and announce a by-election within the framework of the Constitution. And so we still have a number of hurdles to cross, a number of things to do before we get to the point of picking a replacement. I think that we should reserve this time now for the family to mourn this loss and tone down a bit on the talk of replacement. Because I can imagine being in the shoes of family members, listening to conversations about replacements as if the life that has just been lost, didn't really matter that much. So I think that because we still have a number of hurdles to cross, the internal dynamics of the constituency, beyond just speaking of the strength of the NDC, should be toned down a bit. And I am sure that is the mood in the constituency now. But I don't know if the NPP will want to contest this. Like in the past, they decided not to get involved in the Tamale Central constituency by-election because the figures spoke for themselves. I mean, they thought that it was going to be a waste of time, waste of resources, and unnecessary tension created. And even though they claimed that it was as a result of the mourning and the nature of the laws, we all knew that it was simply because they knew they had no chance. And I think it is the same situation in Ayawaso East. They don't have a chance. I mean, all things being equal, they don't have a chance in winning that seat. And so I am just wondering if the decision that they took in Tamale Central will be repeated in the case of Ayawaso East.
Okay. Not a statement of fact, but, or no, not of conjecture, so to speak, or fact. Actually, there's a precedent has been set, so he's only referring to that. But I mean, despite what the Honorable Suhini will say, he knows he comes from a stronghold of a party, so he knows that even before the announcements are made, the internal dynamics internally just get kick-started, and it also means that he's representing a very strong constituency, even if we're not talking about Greater Accra, even countrywide,
Well, that's the cutthroat nature of the politics we do here, you understand? As in the body is even yet cooled, and we are already talking about a by-election. But so His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia will not be very happy with you. Well, because Dr. Bawumia, as far as he's concerned, is supposed to deliver, or was supposed to deliver Ayawaso East to the MPP. He was supposed to deliver Tamale Central to the MPP. And he failed. He's been given another chance. His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is being given another chance.
By who?
By the whims of nature. Yeah, he's been given another chance to deliver on his promise. He said that when they vote for him, he's going to deliver the Zongos, also going to deliver the North. Only he could do that. He said that. He said that, and I know Brian Champa is going after him. Indeed, he gave an example in Naudoli. That in Naudoli constituency.
Who gave the example?
Brian Champa. No, Brian Champa is going after Dr. Bawumia on his failed promise. His Excellency Dr. Bawumia, in 2023, when he wanted to be MPP presidential candidate, promised on the back of his mercy-like ability to deliver the North, to deliver the Zongos. Because of that, Dr. Brian Champion supported him. And then, in so many of the Zongos, he had share. So many police stations in the North, he had share. And so it was very surprising, personally, when, in spite of his promise, the MPP decided not to fill anybody in Tamale Central. I'm saying nature itself has given another opportunity. See the way my brother here is smiling. His wicked smile. Now, His Excellency Dr. Bawumia has been given another opportunity by nature. One, he must deliver Pandai.
This time he's not asking you, Ada Sir.
He's
not asking you the question, Ada
I'm really surprised. Yeah, I was expecting that person.
Enjoying it.
Yes. So, first of all, Dr. Bawumia must deliver Pandai. You understand? When is the Pandai election? Well, it's within court. So, Dr. Bawumia must deliver Pandai because he's going to win their primaries. And as leader of their party, he must deliver Pandai. And then he must deliver Ayawaso East. And so I don't think the MPP can find any legitimate reason or ground to say that they won't contest. They must contest. They are going to contest. They must contest. And His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia must deliver on his words. He must deliver on his promise. He must deliver Ayawaso East. You understand? Now, I'm praying that all of us will learn from the lack of Jean-Shekan politics. That's His Excellency.
Jean-Shekan.
Yes.
That's Infante Pen.
Yes.
Okay.
Dr. Bawumia.
Why is that important?
You see, when you premise your candidature, your ability on something as serious as leadership, on your tribe, on your religion, on where you are from, without having any regard to the context being the strength of certain political parties in certain areas. You understand? So the NDC is popular in the Zongos, not necessarily because they have been tribal, but it's based on how the Muslim communities perceived the NDC as enhancing their welfare. It has nothing to do with tribalism. So when you want to be a leader and you premise your claim to leadership on tribalism, two, on religion, and on Zongoism, you understand? Not on your credibility, then you'll be exposed all the time. Then you continue to lose credibility because MPP is going to lose they are going to lose massively, and it's going to take a massive dent on the credibility of His Excellency. It's not only, it is an election. The people of Ayawaso East, as things stand now, are without representation. You understand? And one of the leaders in Ghana, having premised his claim to leadership on where he's from, on his religion, on Zongoism, and not on the principle of Hatarization of the city, he's going to get another massive dent on his credibility. Because I can trust you. You see, the way my brother here is wearing black. He's just waiting in the wings, like the hyena or vulture, waiting for somebody to die, so they'll pounce. I'm saying that in about 61 days, because the election will be held in about 61 days, the credibility of His Excellency Dr. Bawumia is going to get a massive dent once again. And all of us must learn from this, that politics is a very serious business. The focus of politics ought to be one, to build a strong state and to take care of the welfare of the people. So when you want to lay claim to any leadership, then your focus must to bring out things about yourself that can facilitate the creation of that strong state and taking care of or ensuring that the welfare of the citizens are done, not necessarily where you are from, your religion, or what you understand. When you do that kind of politics, you will lose credibility. Like I said, Dr. Bawumia is losing credibility. So I think we all know. I think if there's something we can all agree, and I'm sure if my brother here will agree to that, that the Ayawaso is seated there. As to who will be an MP, the next MP will be determined by who the NDC will decide to choose. And no amount of yabbing, no amount of the espousing of the principle of Zongoism, no amount of needless tribal politics will give the MPP any chance of winning that seat. For we in the UP, we are looking at this situation strategically. 2028, come to 2028, we are going to present a credible candidate. And we choose that candidate not on the principle of Zongoism, not on the principle, the tribal principle, but on the principle of Ghana First.
United Party.
Yes, on the
you
principle
will
of
present
Ghana
a candidate
in 2028. And I'm saying that candidate will be chosen not on the principle of Zongoism, not on the principle of tribalism, but we'll choose a candidate who reflects our core values. Our core values being what? Ghana First. And the call on all politicians to do a politics that will enhance the state Ghana and that will put the welfare of its citizens at the forefront, not on the principle of Zongoism as His Excellency Dr. Bawumia has been doing, and for which his credibility is going to take a further dent in 61 days.
Dr. Kwekubuan, you take a look at the reference made by the Honorable Soheyeni, Tamale Central, recent precedent, and so it means that it has to be repeated by the NPP.
That decision lies in the hands of those who run the affairs of the NPP today.
What's your mind?
For me, I think why shouldn't we contest that election? Why shouldn't NPP contest that election? Although, like Honorable Soheyeni said, that because Tamale Central, there was an excuse that was given, and that because of the situation, yes, we all know that there was no way we could go into Tamale Central and do anything better. NPP wouldn't have anything there. So it was a nice way of telling everybody, listen, there's no need wasting our resources and all that. Let us sit somewhere and then focus on what is ahead of us, which is the internal primaries that is going to happen on the 31st of January. I think that one is their focus at the moment. But notwithstanding, Ayawaso East, we had a candidate there, and I think even for nothing at all, we can still present him. Let him go. No, he will not lose. Maybe, just maybe. Just maybe. He might win next time around. You know, McNaser had some clout around him, that which made him the face of Ayawaso East, and that he would win the elections over and over again for the 4th time. Now he is no more. Just maybe another person from another fraternity will come in and may make, who knows, might make an impact there. I think we should not chicken out of this. Yes, MPP should not chicken out of this. They should allow somebody contest the seat and see what happens. I know with the NDC's internal politicking, the closest who has always come close to Naser has been Baba Jamal. So this is also a good opportunity for him to also lace his boots and then say, listen, since I've been in this with him, you know, when he left Akwetia, he came to Ayawaso East, and that is where he's been contesting over the years. So that's also another opportunity for my very good friend, Baba Jamal. But like I said, I don't think it is necessary to chicken out of this. Let us go in there. MPP should go in there and try, and who knows, maybe, just maybe. I know NDC has a goodwill, the goodwill of the people are supporting them, and we are here to see. I said I'm not going to be talking about President John Dramani Mahama and critique him for now. Because he's barely been there. I think on the 7th of January, in 2 days will be the 1 year
2 days.
since he became president of Ghana. So for now, we are not going to critique them. We want to see what they come up with. And then if Ghana is good.
That's from the Kencam. This one is from the Kencam.
Yes. It's good for all of us. So we'll give him that ample time to work his way out and then make sure that Ghana is good.
Kweku Boahing. And you look at the election result, Dr. Tutu Boahing, Naser 22,139, and then Zach Rahman of the MPP 9,011. No, their polls are apart.
Yeah. So as I indicated earlier,
polls apart. What dynamics are there that are present for the NDC? And you know the struggles even intensify if the party that is contesting is in government.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, the incumbency effect, you know, is something that go for the NDC. Secondly, you realize that, you know, issues about sympathy, you know, could also be triggered, especially when the late Naser, you know, has that kind of clout, as, you know, Dr. Boahing indicated. And obviously, you will see, like I said earlier, you know, the fact that that seat consistently, you know, has been won by the NDC over the years. That also suggests that NDC is strong, you know, on the ground. And so, unless something, you know, happens, we can't really predict on a hindsight that, you know, the MPP is going to take that seat. And when you check even the statistics with Tamale Central, you know, obviously you see that the Ayawaso East is quite different, you know, from Tamale Central, apart from the fact that both have been seats that have been won, you know, by the NDC, sorry. Now, again, in political marketing perspective, you could also see that in recent times, voters seems to be shifting in terms of their behaviors, in terms of their thought, in terms of their intention. And mostly some of these shifts are related, you know, to the general question, you know, of voters. What is in there for me? In other words, the issues about cost-benefit analysis with regards to, you know, voters exercising their franchise in favor of a particular candidate. And that suggests that if the MPP can get a competitive candidate in there, probably they can make certain inroads, they can cause a stir, or probably, you know, the unexpected could happen. And so it is up to the MPP. For me, I felt that MPP not going to Tamale Central was a mistake. You know.
You told them, and they said they insisted they will have to go.
I said, I told them.
It's a question.
So the question is, did I tell them? Obviously, no. But I expressed my views on media.
Publicly.
Yeah. And it is this, that if I check the dynamics then, and what I saw was this, there were certain candidates in Tamale Central who belonged to the NDC and who were willing, because they knew that a particular candidate was coming who may be stronger than them, but they were equally looking for a certain opportunities to equally contest that candidate. All right. So it was an issue of approach and convincing certain candidates that you could leave your camp. I mean, in marketing, recruitment is allowed. Coaching is allowed. You know, so if the MPP had done certain calculations and had poached certain candidates, you know, whether neutral or whether from the camp of the NDC or other political parties, I think that it could have given them a certain leverage.
In the last election?
The one at Tamale Central.
Okay.
And so I want to throw in this same, you know, narrative that if you feel that there is a candidate who can be very competitive, you know, why don't you go for that person? Because after all, Honorable Naser is no more. A new candidate is coming. And the NDC is now going to recruit a new person who probably can fit the shoes of Honorable Naser. And so more or less like a neutral position, a neutral contest now. So if you are bringing two strong candidates, or if these two major political parties are, you know, bringing two new strong, you know, candidates to pitch their strength against each other, then I presume that brand personalities, you know, is going to be the top of the competition, as against, you know, party brands. When you compare the party brand in recent times to candidate brands, it seems to me, it suggests to me that candidate brands are becoming more powerful and more influential in party politics, and especially in elections, than, you know,
why do you draw those conclusions?
Yes, I draw those conclusions because when you check the characteristics of the youth now, who constitute the major, you know, they normally go for a benefit to them rather than a benefit that they feel that the party may not be willing to deliver. All right. So one of my PhD candidates, you know, thesis, this thing actually came out clear, and it actually supported, you know, my preconceived, you know, intentions or expectations, right? So I feel that yes, it is true that candidates are becoming more powerful as against party, you know, brands. And so in going to any competitive election, you need a candidate whose influence, you know, is key and whose influence is strong within any constituency. And that is what probably I would agree with Dr. Dubois, you know, when he said that the MPP must not back out, but go and compete. And so what it means is that, you know, search through your party, go beyond your party, move into the camp of your opponents, and probably see. Because obviously, some politicians are becoming more or less, you know, selfish, right, in quotes. In other words, they equally want to achieve their political ambitions regardless of whichever party that will offer them, you know, such opportunities. So it's about recruitment, and it's about identifying key, important, you know, influential people who you feel that, yes, they would have the backing of the people. You feel that they are influential. You feel that the people, the voters within the constituency, may be expecting that such a person, to lead them.
All right. You wanted to answer.
Just a quick point. I agree with Prof when he talks about candidate
I'm not yet
brand. Doc, when he talks about candidates brand and party brand.
Do you think it's an overall national trend?
I have not read the
literature
on which he's making the argument.
I'll send you.
But my hunch tells me that it can be true. I mean, over the years, if you have observed voting patterns in the country, you realize that there are so many people who have voted for the NDC at one election and have also voted for the MPP at another election.
2016.
It tells you that sometimes the candidate
matters.
The person that is presented at a particular time. So you may have to match it against candidate and time. It becomes a major influencer rather than the political party. So I agree with him on that score. I also think that no two elections are the same. No two elections are the same. And on that basis, I will agree to the suggestions that it is an open contest and the NPP should not avoid engaging in that contest. Except to say that my earlier submission was premised on a precedence that was set in the case of Tamale Central. And I mean, it was obvious then that because Tamale Central was won by the NDC in the last election by about 75%
vote cast.
I mean, the candidate, the late Honorable Muchala, won by about 75%
of the vote that were cast.
That was cast. Yes. And in the case of Honorable Naser Toure, he won by over 70%. So on that basis, I'm saying that perhaps there should be no motivation for the NPP to want to contest this. And when they didn't contest in Tamale Central, it was so peaceful. It passed without any incident. The NDC did its primaries, chose its candidate. The Electoral Commission declared the winner on the election day. And we had, Prof sworn in as the new MP for Tamale Central. And I'm expecting the same thing. But I don't deny the fact that candidates, timing, and two elections are not the same.
By way of the analysis.
Yes, I don't deny those analyses at all.
Okay. Now we have to talk about Nicolas Maduro, his abduction or capturing. No, that would be an arrest. Okay. So I have abduction. Is that arrest? Arrest. Okay, I have abduction and capturing. I said capturing, now I said abduction. And then I have...
I'll give you one extraction.
Extraction, so he was extracted. But I don't know. You are a politician in government, and I know that there's an overall statement that's been issued by the government through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
I think that we are making light of this issue, maybe because it seems very remote to us, but it shouldn't seem remote to us. First of all, shouldn't be light. It shouldn't also be looked at as a very remote, issue. I think that Trump is unhinged. I'm sorry, but there's no better way to describe what he is doing to the world politics. And I think it's about time that, he's told in the face by world leaders that he's putting everybody at risk, including American citizens, everywhere around the world, and even in the United States of America. I mean, what has happened in Venezuela has nothing to do with world peace. It has everything to do with, if you like, the instability of the world. It is personal interest. I don't even see it as a national interest. just because Venezuela has the largest oil deposits and minerals, and you are losing control over those mineral resources, you engage in this unlawful act, an act that is against all laws that are known internationally, invading a sovereign country. I mean, which country then is safe in this world? So when we are in Ghana and we choose to do things that will benefit us and our citizens, and America is uncomfortable with it, they can send in soldiers to just abduct our leaders. I think this is just condemnable. This is a new low, and I think that it is a major tax for the United Nations. It should be a major, talking point for ECOWAS and the AU. We must, the world, bodies that are set up to maintain the balance that is required for every country's survival must begin to speak up against this threat. Because I don't think that, what has happened should be seen lightly at all. I am very, very happy that our country, led by the foreign minister, has already condemned this in no uncertain terms. It is against international law, and for whatever reason, and we know what the reason is, I don't think that America had that right to go into another country to arrest its leader. I mean, and the predictions were done long before today. The assassination of Nicolas Maduro was on the cards. People predicted it. And it was always because he was not allowing America to control their oil reserves. And Trump himself, in his address to the press, makes it clear why they went in.
Consistently.
Yes, claiming that they made so many investments. They made so many investments in another country's oil reserves, and because they are losing control over it, they have to go and engage in this dastardly act. I think that the world must rise up to Trump. America, I have heard some, people in America say they will wait him out. It tells you clearly that even they have become very uncomfortable with what he is doing. But I don't think the world should just look on for him to continue to distort the arrangement that has worked for us all this while.
And you look at Article 2.4 of the UN Charter, lawyer, and it says all members shall refrain in their international relations from the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state, or in any other manner inconsistent with the purposes of the United Nations.
Yes.
And would you say this is a clear breach within which the context of the geopolitics of the world, America is a superpower, and so it should be let go?
In fact, I don't think we can have a debate as to the fact that America has breached every single law, every single international law. You understand? And see, the issue is not just about the Article 2.4 of the UN Charter, because see, there's a clear prohibition against the use of force, and we must admit that there are exceptions. One first exception was the use of force a UN-sanctioned use of force. In this case, no. Was it was America
under threat or threatened?
Self-defense, whether preemptive self-defense or no? Did Venezuela invite America in because there was some breach that
the citizens invite him?
No. You understand? But beyond that, that is not the issue, because America stated why they went in. America is saying that they have indicted Maduro for what's called offenses as in narco terrorism, drug trafficking, all those things. Now the question then is, can any country enter into another country outside of the Article 2.4 and arrest its head of state for any offense And there again, the answer is a clear no. Because, we have customary international law and personal immunity of the head of state is an absolute immunity under customary international law. You understand? So even if what America is telling the world, that they've indicted Maduro under their domestic law, then under customary international law, there was no basis, no grounds for America to have arrested Maduro. Because there again, there are exceptions. One is an ICC.
In Venezuela.
In
They would have arrested him in the US.
Even there, they couldn't even have arrested him insofar as he remained the head of state. Because I'm saying, under customary international law, head of states have absolute personal immunity. Now, I've heard people mention the Noriega case, and they're using the Noriega case as a precedent. And there again, you can't use Noriega. In fact, in the Noriega case, the UN condemned the US Act. And even in that case, Noriega didn't have international acceptance as head of state because, he was a military leader. But in the case of Maduro, he's an elected president of Venezuela. He's recognized internationally. He has absolute control of his country. And so Noriega does not even come in as a president. For me, when I look at the US case, and when I look at the Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and then when you take into consideration what necessitated the creation of the UN, because you see, we all need to recall that between 1914, when the Grand Duke was assassinated, that led to the First World War, up until 1945. People believe that, indeed, there was no First or Second World War. In fact, the Second World War was just a continuation of the First World War. We felt that we need to create a new international order that would prevent these world wars and the extent to which it destroyed human life. You understand? But strangely, the countries that are supposed to be at the forefront of that agenda, they claim that they have permanent seats on the Security Council. And they are the countries that are breaching all the principles, all the not even principles, all the laws, all the international laws. You understand? And for me, it shouldn't just be about condemning. So Ghana has condemned, other countries will condemn. If in the Great Britain they condemn, what can they do? You understand? And all the principles that are supposed to underpin international relations, equality, all countries are meant to be equal. We are all meant to be sovereign. But are we truly equal? Are we truly sovereign? Because if we were Ghana, that arrested, President of Ghana goes and arrests President of Togo.
Or the Burkina Faso leader, for example.
Yes, and we will just not be, it will not just be about they condemning us. Remember when, and forgive me for using that example, Slobodan, when Yugoslavia was being, and then you saw what happened to him. America led an action. But what Trump has done, in my opinion, is a clear declaration of war on Venezuela. That's how serious this matter is. And for me, it's a call for us to look at the international architecture once again.
The framework
once again, because the framework as it stands today clearly is not working. And you have a situation where the countries that are meant to be the vanguards of the international peace are the countries that are leading the destabilization of global peace. And the case in point here is both the US and Russia.
Even the UK says that, well, they have no difficulty, they are not condemning it, so to speak. But China and Russia have emerged as emerging global powers, so to speak. Maduro made a decision that despite all what the pact was with Saudi Arabia in the Nixon administration, will be accepting the yuan as well as the Russian ruble for oil exchange and transactions. The fear is the US dollar also could become irrelevant over time. And those who tend to read global international politics say they're all part of the dynamics, not only the oil. That is part of the narrative.
Yeah. I think this whole issue of somebody walking into somebody's house to just go and arrest him.
Plainly.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. But, President Maduro, over the time, has also been, if you may, America has come out to say that he was involved in drug trafficking. He had cartels all over that were putting or bringing in loads of coke into the U.S. market.
He claims through shipments.
Through
He had some of them bombed,
and
arrested.
And then sponsoring, if you may, selling weapons to terrorists and all that. But this is what America says, and this is what they make us believe in his authoritarian nature. It's brought a lot of issues. And you know, before his arrest, U.S. had already detained some of his government officials. And then they have put sanctions on their oil and then all that. And then, you know, the oil industry is suffering a lot. Their oil productions are not going out there. They don't even have storage capacity. They don't even, there's a lack of exports on the part of Venezuela. But then if you look at all this, the situation is all about the fluid, the crude. Yeah. That, to me, that is what I see. And then President Maduro also was making, I was just some provocative statements that came from him. You know, even the night before he was arrested, he actually, in a press conference, said, I'm here waiting for you. Don't be late, coward. Telling Trump that he's in his, what do you call it, in Malafro, waiting for Trump to come. He shouldn't be late.
It still doesn't make the act right.
Is he when
whatever he said before this,
you know, U.S. still lives as the guy out there. Okay.
Who appointed them the world?
If I say they still live as a guy out there, you know, after the Cold War, in the unipolar world, America was seen as one of those, if you may, the police of the world. Okay. And so when you are doing things that they think that, hey, it is not right, you trafficking and in all these things that your people, you know, actually, Honorable, the new guy that has taken over, Rodriguez, the vice president that has taken over, is a lady, right? A lady. Okay. Is actually seeking a cooperation with U.S. Just yesterday, she made a statement that she wants to have a JoJo with the U.S.
U.S. is threatening her too. So.
Oh no, they are not threatening now. You see, they are actually. You see, so at the end of the day, if you make such remarks and then you invite an opposition, I'm not supporting it because of their sovereign immunity. The international laws abhors it. You can't just walk into somebody's house in his country and arrest him. But then, is this the first it has ever happened that they are arresting any president?
Should it happen
again? In October 16th, 1998, Augusto Pinochet was arrested. 1998 was arrested in the UK. He was the president of Chile. U.S. arrested him in UK.
Pinochet?
Yes, he was arrested for abuses.
That justifies this one?
I'm saying.
Or you analyze.
I'm saying this is not.
Was he still president?
No.
He was president.
Pinochet.
Yes.
Pinochet, not at the time.
No, not at the time.
And you see, he was not also arrested in Chile.
Yeah,
no, he was not arrested in Chile.
He
flew to UK and then he was arrested.
But was he president at that time?
Was it? Was
no,
he
he was not.
He was.
No, we can check.
We can always check. I think he was. Okay. And then he was arrested in the UK, and then on abuses and all that, and then they took him on to try him. I'm not saying, I'm just justifying what Trump has done, but I think some of these things might culminate in.
He was in office up to 1990, so he was not president.
He was not president.
Yeah,
okay.
but at that time he was not waiting, yeah.
So he was a former president of.
But
Chile.
you are just trying to link that
Yes.
to sovereignty and all
then,
that.
the constitution.
So what's your conclusive statement?
What I'm trying to say is that I don't support it in any uncertain terms. But then if the charges leveled against him are true.
But who makes the decision as to The charges should be leveled against state leader. We saw that in Saddam. There was invasion subsequently. There was Libya too. Yes. And it turns out when America undertakes these sort of interventions, the countries don't tend to be the same. Actually tend to worsen than what the narrative conditions are. So what do you say?
You see, like I said, I don't support them. But if these things that they enumerated are things to go by, then I am tempted to think that
there was a reason.
A reason why he did what he did.
Okay.
But America should not invade people because they want to go and take over their oil industry, or because they want their gold or want any of their mineral resources for themselves. It shouldn't happen.
All right.
Okay.
Dr. Sutubuahin, your last words on this.
Yeah, so, Roland, you see, for me, I think that UN has failed.
Yeah.
And
it's a failed body.
Yes, and has failed woefully. Why do I say that? I'm making this point on the fact that Panama was invaded in 1991, and that has created some level of, you remember General Noriega, right?
Noriega, yeah.
Even went to the Vatican, embassy. He was still taken. I mean, I think that even during war, when you run to, even to churches,
yeah, by the dictates of the Geneva Convention.
Exactly. You don't have to be taken, all right? But this is where he runs to the seat of Pope in his own country, and then you go for him. In that circumstance, what did the UN say? Apart from condemning the acts, they failed to even sanction US. All right. US again went to Iraq, 1991, under George Bush. First to expel Iraq from Kuwait, and then in 2003, I think to 2011, they still went back to Iraq just to go and unseat Saddam Hussein.
Wow. The excuse was because of weapons of mass destruction that were being...
Exactly, but which turned out to be untrue.
Looking at the declassified files,
exactly,
yes.
So the question is, why that war in the first place? The same thing has happened in Venezuela. UN is still sitting and watching. I don't know the kind of institution that nations have joined together to form and what offer they are presenting to us, the protection they are giving to us. And I feel that these are some of the reasons that actually collapsed, the World Trade Organization and has weakened its strength over the years. Now we see trade blocs taking over, what WTO should have done. And that is why, the BRICS, have become so powerful. And these BRIC countries, are actually calling the bluff of the US in terms of trade. In fact, per an article that I read, they command over 30% of the GDP of the world now. And you see other countries like Nigeria, South Africa is already in there. Nigeria is struggling to join. Ghana, I think, is equally, making advances to join the BRICS. Now, it will get to a time that if US doesn't take time, all right, this issue of superpower, will become a thing of the past, because obviously country will not feel protected under the US, all right, and they may want to shift and form their own, security institutions. Again, UN should be very decisive when it comes to actions taken by, the US. It appears that I don't know whether it is by financial influence or lack of authority on the part of UN. Anything that US does, UN just accept it, you know. And they take it just like that. They wouldn't even sanction them. They will not speak to the issues as it is. And I feel that it is not really good, you know, for the world, you know, in general, not just Venezuela, you know, but the world in general. And I like the position of Ghana, you know, on this matter. And I think that for me, even Ghana should have gone even more stronger.
Than the statement?
Yes, than the statement that they issued. So I feel that all in all, yes, like Honorable said, you know, the world must not sit aloof and just be watching. You know, it should be condemned. If there is anything that world leaders will come together, you know, to do, to ensure that, you know, this particular action by Trump becomes unpopular, I think that it should be done.
Well,
you know,
Roland, what on what premise can Russia and China also try to oppose the UN? You know, Russia,
Roland,
Ukraine. Then we also have
Roland,
China,
please.
Taiwan.
This question, Honorable, please, just a minute. On this question, I feel that Venezuela was betrayed by these two countries.
You see, Roland, I am a socialist at heart. And sometimes I think that, unfortunately, socialism has been at the receiving end around the world for a very long time. Maybe because it does not preach aggression. You know, what I see around the world when you look at the world politics is as if those who are uncomfortable with socialism tend to be more aggressive towards dismantling social setups than socialists do. Socialists are more about, you know, talking, canvassing for support.
Yeah.
But those opposed to it are more about dismantling it aggressively. And I think that perhaps the mindset has to change. Look, clearly what is happening today in Venezuela is not about instilling democracy. Because why? They went to the polls only last year, 2024, and with an election turnout of about 57%, Maduro won by about 51%. There were challenges, just like there are challenges everywhere. Even in the last American elections, there were challenges. And those challenges were resolved by the Supreme Court, which, you know, some agencies, including the United States, rejected. But the people will always have an opportunity again. We saw it even in the Arab Spring. When it got worse, the citizens themselves had a way of registering their protests and getting change that they deserve. So let us not, you know, be quick to act like the world policeman, especially when we are not doing this so that the world will be safe. We are simply doing this because of the, you know, interest we have in the resources of Venezuela. And I think that it is not just us outside America who are criticizing this. And this is what makes, you know, what has happened dastardly. I've heard leading members of the United States, I'll say the politics of the United States. In fact, Kamala Harris has actually condemned this and also indicated and made the point that I made earlier about this action not making America and its citizens safe. Yeah. And so it is just unacceptable. It is unthinkable. And it's about time that the world leaders come together to, you know, at least put some barriers, put some stop to this reckless behavior of President Trump. The Americans may choose to wait him out, but the world has to be...
How are they going to do that?
Look, you see, what the UN I know, the UN. Listen, the UN. Yes, I'm just wrapping up. The UN I know have not also been that comfortable with Venezuela, you know, for some time now. But that does not justify what the US has done. And so they must be seen to be condemning this act. And it's, maybe you are right when you say that Russia and China may have betrayed Venezuela.
They just condemn.
Clearly, I think that they were beginning to show more, if you like, acceptance.
Time is up.
With Chinese politics. And that may have also influenced
so I have
America
a couple of,
because of the risk to their petrodollar and all of that.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Alaji Suhini, the Deputy Roads Minister as well as Member of Parliament, then also Lawyer Pierre Dankwa, Dr. Kweku Boahi and Dr. Tutu Boahi as well. This one, Kofi Capito says that there's no evidence that the drugs coming into the U.S. are from Venezuela, but rather Colombia. So why not just go and arrest the...
he says he's going to arrest Colombia.
Colombia. Well, he's made public statements.
Yeah, he says he's going to arrest him. He's going to arrest
him. Charlie, no one is ever safe. And Elliot Wogbe says that this is as condemnable as it can be and must not be encouraged. And Prince Henry Kofodia said Trump is chewing more than he can bite. The future is pregnant. What is pregnant? Zach has also sent a message. That's okay. How can a democratic country like the U.S. act undemocratic like this? All right. And Shamika,
forgive me. Let me interrupt you a bit and also take this opportunity to wish Beatrice Annan a very, very happy birthday. May God continue to bless her. We in the NDC are very proud of her.
Okay. It's also your birthday. That's Shamiga Pekalechu III, Chamiga of Awudome traditional area. Wishing you all the best for the day. Happy birthday to you.